Welcome back to another sacred space of noticing what we notice. And in this video, I want to bring up the idea and share the idea of the brilliance in our binges. And this one example I'm going to give is related to what we might watch, what I was watching. And then I have another example related to food. That was a huge, once I noticed those patterns, it was really fascinating what happened. So I'll share. The situation was when I noticed this idea of the brilliance in my binges, the brilliance in our binges, was I was feeling depressed. I was experiencing a period of depression. I was watching a lot of, at the time it was Netflix and Amazon, I think, something like that. And I was spending a lot of time doing it, and I was feeling embarrassed, like ashamed, like hard on myself. What is wrong with you that you can't get up and do something? And oh, there's a whole other video about the pattern of depression showing up. If you're interested, let me know. That was freaking huge, life changing. Anyway, back to the pattern of the brilliance in our binges. And I noticed, I don't know, there's something about what I had just watched. It was, I can't remember if it was like Laura Dern in Enlightenment, which I thought was absolutely hilarious and awesome and brilliant and very unique. Maybe not. I loved it. And so I noticed that felt this disappointment when I was at the end of what was available, the end of the series, the end of the, seasons, whatever. Like, interesting. Like, I really enjoyed watching it, and then I was disappointed. Why was that? Interesting. So I was noticing all of this, and all of a sudden this thought popped in my head that I noticed that said, look at that, you're only watching women. Oh, is that really? Well, I mean, no, that's not really true. But when I started looking at the series that I really got the most enjoyment out of while I was watching them, see if you notice the pattern with me, as I wrote them down in my story journal, which story journals are brilliant for us. If you're interested in, I really want to share that idea. In fact, I think I'm going to create a video, and if you're interested, I think story journals are so awesome for us, especially if we love noticing. It becomes a fun game after a while. Okay, so what I noticed was Laura Dern in Enlightenment, this hilarious and yet strong woman who's determined. One of my favorites, Good Girls. Oh, I started writing it down. Good Girls Revolt. Only one season on Amazon. Back in the 60s, about women becoming journalists. We don't really have that many journalists anymore. We have news actor anchors, but we don't really have as many journalists anymore. Or if we do, they've gone off on their own so they can do journalism. But really very fun. I love the 60s. I feel like, well, I don't know, something about that is very fun and freeing for me. So anyway, that was one of my absolute favorites. Really disappointed that there wasn't a season 2. Couldn't imagine why not when there were 30,000 positive reviews. It's kind of a lot, isn't it? Interesting. Noticing. Claire on Modern Family. Love her. Phoebe Waller-Bridge in Fleabag. Sorry, I can't read with my glasses on. Juliana Margulies, Archie Punjabi is Kalinda, and Christy Baranski, sorry, in The Good Wife. Rachel Brosnahan in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, The Women on Downton Abbey. Like, I noticed, like, I loved watching women who were strong and fun or funny. They had an opinion. They weren't afraid to speak up for themselves when they were very anchored in what they knew was right for them. I'm like, Well, holy shit, that's kind of interesting. I mean, yeah, that the men on the shows are fun and interesting too, but I'm mainly connected to the women. Honestly, it was so huge. It even moves me how huge it was. Like, it was the only way I knew at the time to connect with strong, fun, brilliant women, is to watch them. Isn't that interesting? That's actually quite brilliant because it's telling me, especially with my emotion that's coming up, is that I want more of that. Like, oh, I want more of that. Oh, I wonder how I can create it more of that in my life. It's been hard the last couple of years, maybe. And maybe there's new ways of doing that that we hadn't noticed before. So I want to celebrate your binges, your binges. Sorry, celebrate our binges. Like, I'm curious. Do you notice a pattern related to the brilliance in yours, the connection in yours, the way you love to connect with something about it, the music of it, or the like? Who knows? What is it? Is it something that you want more of connecting with? Like, isn't that beautiful? Awesome. Like, yay, noticing that. Huge, 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 huge. A way to expand what feels wonderful in our life. So ever since that time, I've noticed I'm more, I'm much more selective on what I watch now. Because if I start watching it and I notice there's something that I'm not liking about how somebody's being treated, and I have this idea of where it's going to go, I don't watch it. I turn it off. I don't want to give my attention to that. I want to give my attention to more strong, fun, brilliant, creative, playful experiences. So when we notice the patterns without judgment of good or bad or right or wrong or left or right or up or down, no matter how many hours we may have watched up until now, when we notice the pattern and we can are willing to be curious about a pattern of brilliance in there that is ours, because by our very nature of being here, there is a brilliance in you. Oh, I'll just share my painting, the brilliance in you. So anyway, I'm curious if you want to share, no pressure, but if you want to share the brilliance in your binges, I would love to hear. I'd be honored to hear. Wishing you a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day and celebrating every noticing we have, no matter how small it may appear to be, because noticing creates a space for something new to emerge, a new way of seeing things, a new perspective. It's magical. All right. Have a wonderful rest of your day and see you next time. Bye.